So a new week is presents various opportunities and sometimes challenges. And that's what we ask God for help with, those challenges. Every week we ask God to help us in the week ahead. But I wanted to select a practical halacha from the works of Rabbi Silverstein. The case is one that in two ways we could be very connected to, and in one way disconnected. And it brings us into two halachas at least. So here's the story. It takes place in Israel. There's a single proprietor barber. He has a pretty good business. He's the boss, and he's the only barber in the shop. Now, some of us might be thinking about haircuts. You know, hopefully we had a chance before Yontif to take a haircut. Maybe not. I'm not looking at anybody in particular. But, you know, some people are thinking about haircuts really this week because some people are not starting their Avelus of the Omer until Rosh Chodesh, depending upon their minhag. So there may be people wanting to cut their hair, shave their beard this week. Of course, where you do it is a big question because one has to be careful about that. You know, home base is the best thing. It happens to be that we're, you know, the Parsha-wise, we're also in a new week, Tazria Mitzorah, and a person who was diagnosed by a Kohen as being afflicted with Mitzorah, Tzarat, that when he would purify himself, one of the things had to do was to cut the hair. So we have those two connections. The disconnect is, you know, how easy it is to cut hair these days because of the matzav, the general situation. But we're back to this barbershop. And the guy is busy. It would be like maybe this time last year, where he has people who are going to be starting their minhag of not cutting their hair. And he has one guy in the chair and 5 people waiting very patiently, sitting in the chairs in his small shop, reading, learning Torah. And in comes a guy, huffing and puffing, dressed nicely, but in a big, big rush. And he says to the barber, I must get a haircut right away. I will pay you double. Just give me the haircut. So what's the problem here? The barber says to him, but there are 5 people ahead of you. But I'll pay you double, but 5 people. So this is a very big thing. This is actually a halacha that I venture to say many of us have been involved in one level or another. So let's imagine that we might be going to a supermarket. Again, not the best thing always to be doing, and as much as we can avoid, we should avoid it. But let's say we're in a supermarket and we're online and there is social distancing on the line. Everybody is 7 feet plus away from each other. And let's say I'm the second person in line. And a good friend of mine comes over to me in the supermarket and says, I'm in a rush, I gotta get home. Do you mind if I go in front of you? Now, is that my right to let him go in front of me? If I'm the last person in the line, then I can let him go in front of me because I only affect myself. But I said I was the second person in line, implying that there were other people behind me, which means I don't have the right to let somebody in front of me. And this barber obviously knew that. So the barber said, I can't take you. I mean, obviously he was going to wait till he finished cutting the fellow in the chair already. But he said, there are 5 other people here. You know, you need to get their permission to let you be next. He said, you know what? Not only am I going to pay you double for the haircut you give me, but I will pay for all of those guys' haircuts. So the barber turns to them and says, you want to accept that deal? And they all say, yeah, sure. Let him go. So the guy waits just a few minutes until the original customer is finished with his haircut. And then he sits in the chair, gets his haircut. The haircut is over. He gets up out of the chair, puts his jacket back on, brushes himself off a drop more, takes 30 shekel, which was the price of a normal haircut in that shop. He takes only 30 shekel out, drops it on the counter and says, thanks, goodbye. He was supposed to pay 210. 5 times 30, 150 for the people waiting in line, plus 60 to the barber. So he's supposed to pay 210 shekels. He left 30 shekels and ran out. Gone. That's a lesson in of itself to never copy, right? So now, of course, the guys, so the barber announces to the other people, says, there's no more free haircuts for you guys. And they start arguing with him. What do you mean? No more free haircuts? We were supposed to get free haircuts. So the barber says to him, you were getting haircuts because that guy said he's paying for you. I just was a little bit of a broker, but you were right there. You could have asked him to pay up front, but you agreed to let him go and then he'll pay for you. But I didn't make you that deal. I just said, if it's okay with you, then it's okay with me. So they're having a little bit of a polite argument, and they agree to go for the psak din. So Rabbi Silverstein Paskin, like the barber, he said, just like the barber said, is that he didn't make the deal. He didn't promise you the free haircut. The guy who ran out of the store is the one who promised you the free haircut. So the other people were obligated to pay. Sometimes we can learn lessons of what not to be. So that was the guy who ran out was certainly not our model. We always want to be ethical, but the questions of standing on line, letting people into lines, those are very regular occurrences. And hopefully anybody who needs to get a haircut will be able to get a haircut at the right time.